Good morning, and how are you? I am Tessa-Marie, and welcome to the Morning Blessings. Today is June 3rd, 2024, 7:59 a.m. And here we are. It's another beautiful morning. Today is going to be... Hi, Stacy. Good morning. Welcome back, sweetie. It's going to be amazing. Every day we show up. Hi, Peter. How are you doing today? Hello, Nancy. How are you feeling? Hi, Lynn. How are you feeling? It is a wonderful, beautiful morning. Another day for us to do better. Hello, Loretta. How are you feeling this morning? It was a great weekend. My glasses seems dirty. Is it? Not really, but it feels that way. It was an amazing weekend, and we were all here. Like, it was nice to be with friends and spend some time outside. So we ate outside. But anyway, it's 8 o'clock, so we won't go any further about the weekend. It was great, and I trust that you guys also had a great weekend. Now, the morning blessing today is going to make you think. I said choices and decision. Not the regular way. It's deeper than you will get or you have received from me before. But I'll start it with the same way we always have it. Thanks, Stacy, for welcome to the morning blessings. Every day we make choices. Now I realize that when you hear choices and decision, that you're thinking the choices and decisions are about your career, your partner, your finance, and really along that line, right? No. This is the choice to act a certain way. So this is a choice to act in a certain way. And to make a decision to put it in place. So choices and decisions is not always about the choices that we think about, not the regular way. This particular choice and decision is, as I said, is to make a choice to act in a certain way and to make the decision to put it in place. Think about that for a second. Be careful when you are thinking of that. Those words, choice and decision, those two words, choice and decision, think about it. Pause in your mind and think. Don't go back though and want to correct anything, because you have to find out a little bit more what this really truly means. The word that now, this particular situation is when we perceive harm is done to us. So when I talk with you, it's always about my experience that I want to share and how I got over it, or a challenge I had and how I raised myself above that challenge. And that's why I bring it up to you like that. Good morning, Lisa. How are you feeling this morning? So for this reason, I'm telling you, this is the choice to act in a certain way and to make the decision to put it in place. Be careful when you're thinking of that, because the words are choice and decide. You choose and you decide. Now, this particular situation is when you perceive harm is done to you. You perceive harm, and the dictionary said, perceive, to be aware of, to know, or identify by means of senses. That's what the dictionary said about perceive. So, one of the things I know for sure is what we think of when we hear the word choice and decision is not always there. It's not always like the basic thing, right? What I desire you to think is the harm done to you by others. That's what I want you to think about. You know that person harmed you. You know, maybe you felt it, or maybe you experienced it financially. They stole from you. They charged you more than they should. They told you that you're not good. You won't go to heaven. They physically abuse you. They mentally torture you. They emotionally take you down. And they touch all of your five senses. So though their words or actions are leaning on your five pillars of prosperity, I am taking the time to tell you to draw a timeline from there to how they affected you. And when you're doing that, look at the five pillars and decide if they really pushed by them, it pushed them, and in the way of pushing on those emotions, they also pushed on you. Remember that. Because you are your five pillars, and your five pillars are you. It's all about you. But remember, I said you perceive that they hurt you. Remember that, okay? When pushed by another, it can cause you to be something you do not desire to be. That's where we're going with this. It's a convoluted way to bring it, but it's to bring you back to realizing that they will push you in a certain way. And when, good morning, Lynn, I didn't see that, and Peter. And when they push you in a certain way, it pushes you. Hi, Lisa, good morning, Nancy. Hi, Yuko, good morning. And when they push you in a certain way, they cause you to be. Now, when you are faced with this awareness, now you must choose and decide what action to take. That requires guts. It requires guts. And sometimes it's a contrast that you have to use to what is done to you. And that requires even more guts and fortitudes, and all kinds of things have to happen. Because you have to choose the contrast. And you have to choose your reaction. So we tend as humans, because that's what it is. We heard it if we read the Old Testament. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. They take my eye out, I am going to take their eye out. That's what we heard in the New Testament. Clarity came in the New Testament, and it turns the other cheek. But what I want to do is to draw you in the middle of those 2 points. Harsh, severe, and then, okay, all right. That one, pull you back from it. I hear that tone in the voices of the people. And that tone is more female. The guys will go, well, you know what, that's what the men will do. The women go, I just have to, and the words cannot come out. Because they're doing something to their mental, emotional body that they cannot even fathom, right? They know for sure it's not right, but because it's written in scriptures, you have to bring it together and do it like this. But for goodness sake, man, if you keep getting punched on your cheek, you'll have nothing left, including teeth. You won't be able to chew. You cannot survive. You cannot swallow. So let us move into the middle. What is in the middle? I always tell you guys, the middle is the gap. And where there is a gap, there is a pause. And it's in the gap that miracles happen. It's just the gap. And it's not that you're going to linger in the gap for 5 hours, but you pause in the gap. When you're faced with the awareness, now you must choose and decide what action to take. That requires guts and contrast. You have to choose your reaction. Pay in kind is always the prevailing action. It's always the first one, the prevailing choice. Pay them in kind. Give them what they gave you. You heard it. I wouldn't do it. Remember what they did to you. That is kind. And that sometimes you might have been thinking it, but there comes somebody that you trust, you take advice from, you listen to them, you heard them, and they said, give them what they gave you. Punish them. That is paying in kind. So, of course, you might choose. It might come from well-meaning friends and family. They will encourage you to pay in kind. Remember, you did not enjoy or like what they did to you. Remember that though. When you are pushed to the point to punch back, to give them what they gave you, pause. Did you like it? It hurt. In some cases, it destroyed you. In some cases, it marked you for life. In some cases, that came from someone that is so close to you. Many people will get it from children, from siblings, from family. Many of us get it from all different places, from bosses, from supervisors, from all kinds of people. I often have something that is, because I live my experiences and I listen. And I always say there is a message in people's words, no matter whether you think they're stupid or you do not like them. I maybe will say something now that nobody will like, but it might be a bit of a lesson that one day it might click, or you might be the storyteller to say, you heard this. I had a lady that I worked, the supervisor, and she couldn't stand one bone in my body. She just couldn't. And I was at the back. And we were working in the King and Young. It's a historical building. And it's so beautiful. The vault came from England by a boat. And 22 horses dragged it up Young Street and placed it before the building was put on. So it's 3 stories underground. She wanted to hide me because she couldn't stand that I love selling. I was brought up in a business, so I love to sell. So I could sell water to the people who own Niagara Falls. But anyway, she sent me to work in the 3rd basement. There are huge vaults, so there was the main vault, but all around it were vaults, were people who had tons of money, and the churches had all their gorgeous things all locked up and everything. So I had to wait and sit there for someone to come today, or maybe not today, or 1 or 2, to look at the art. So it could be boring, right? So I didn't know anything else because the only thing I knew was how to pray. So I took off my rosary, and every hour, on the hour, I said a rosary. So if I was there for 8 hours, I said 8 rosaries, 7.5, whatever. And then after a little while, the energy started to change in the room where I was sitting, the desk I was at. And I always didn't bite back because all I looked at is that there are 3 people in my mind that have to be fed. A husband to support, like to, encourage, to put together that we can do this. So I didn't back, I didn't bite. I sat there, I took off the rosary, the only weapon I had, and I prayed the rosary. And the energy changed in the atmosphere. I just felt like it was crowded in there. And what even got more astonishing is like 10 to the hour, I'll be aware, it's almost time to start the rosary. I did that. And then one day, this man showed up, and he said, "What are you doing down there? I missed you upstairs. I haven't seen you for a while." I said, "Oh, well, that's where I am. You have to work." He said, "Is that what you want to do?" I said, "No, I would really love to be a financial planner." He said, "Well, why don't you do it?" I said, "Are you kidding?" So it was, a Jewish man, and he's there with his wife, and they're laughing and chatting with me, and they sat down. They were there for maybe half an hour. And this became question time. So what are you doing? And where do you learn this course? What do you do? And one day, Jerry, the messenger, came down. He said, "There's a box down here for you. But I have a funny feeling we should not let who see that." I said, "Okay." He said, "After she's gone, we'll open it." And there and behold, was a program that I needed to do. I didn't know where it came from. I had no idea. And of course, it took a long time until one day he slipped. And he said to me, "Are you studying for something?" I said, "Yes." But then his wife started getting fidgety. I realized, oh, so that is you that sent it. He said, no, I had nothing to do with it. But anyway, I loaded, I had the course, so no, I did a rosary, but I could study for 45 minutes every day, free time. But fast forward, that course came valuable. The bank paid me the money. I had to try to give him the money. It's a long story. It's just too much. But she had 2 sons, that supervisor. No, I am a manager and she's a manager, but different bank. She calls me. First, her friend called me and said to me, you got distinction. Can we have your notes? Because I have to know, write it. They all have to do it. But I had done it as an advisor. And I had given the notes to somebody else, so I didn't have it. Then she called and said, my son wants a job, and I see you're advertising for an entrance level. I said, I'm so sorry, Jennifer, but I have somebody in the group that I'm going to promote. No, honestly, it was. But if I hadn't, I would still have had him come for an interview. I couldn't pay her in kind. I never paid her in kind until I met her another time, because she lived not too far from me. And she seemed like she was having trouble with her car. And she saw me and she waved at me, and I walked to her and she said to me, I have trouble with my car and my phone is dead. Can I use your phone to call my husband? I gave it to her. She did it and I walked away. I could have chosen twice to pay her back in kind, but I chose not to. Because you have to remember, when you choose to pay in kind, you are also allowing your children to have that type, not to do the same, but that comes back. I keep saying to you guys over and over, I'm an itchy eye today for some reason, over and over again, that what we say is what we get. What we say is what we get. If we say it, it will come back to haunt us, because it's our doing. So if somebody has hurt you, avoid paying them back in kind. Mother Angelo said to walk away. She said to consider where it's coming from my mother. Just think, Tess, where it's coming from and let it go. Hard to do, she said, but you know what? Just keep working on that. Maya Angelou said to believe them. She never said to pay them back in kind. She's a teacher. These were teachers that came, our parents. Remember, let it go. So paying kind is always the first thing, but it is the last thing or never to be done. Remember, you did not enjoy or like what they did to you. If you happen to choose to pay in kind, given what you watch what you are becoming, then what do you do with the person that you are now? No, you are just like them. When you pay somebody in kind, you choose and you make a decision to pay them in kind, give them what they gave you. You are becoming them. But you didn't like them, their action. You didn't like what they did. So to go back and give it to them is becoming like them. And that certainly does not work. It makes you bitter. It makes you angry. This is not turning the other cheek. I didn't say to do that. It is raising your energy higher, bringing your vibration higher. Raise your energy higher. Bring the vibration higher. You can have an inward smile of satisfaction saying, look at what they did to me. I know they're there. And they're asking for my help. And you might smile and say, you know what, life is just so funny. We do not understand true life. They might ask you, and the thing is that sometimes they're so close that you can't walk away from them. You can never not see them. They're so close that no matter you go somewhere, family, death or marriage or whatever, and there they are. And then the day will come, trust me. They might ask to be forgiven. And do you know why they're asking to be forgiven? They are afraid that when they die, they will not go to heaven. So they're asking you to forgive them so they get a passport stamp to heaven. They hurt you. And they're asking you to stamp their passport so they can show it to St. Peter or whoever at the gate and say, look, she forgave me. He forgave me. Although I hurt them, they forgave me. And they believe that is what they need. Yet, the thing they need the most is to apologize. It's not you forgiving them that will give them the passport, but they're so scared of not getting to heaven. And do you know why they hurt you in the first place years and years ago? They were so afraid. They were so afraid you would be better than them. They would be so afraid that you would do better than them. They were so afraid that you are shining brighter than them. That's why I was in the third basement. That vault was so precise that if a paper clip to this day sticks in it, it will not close. It took two of us to push it together. But she thought if she put me next to that shining, beautiful vault, that nobody would see me. But it's in the vault. I got help I wasn't looking for. Every course was $1,500, and there were 9 of them. So think. She thought she could cover me, but she couldn't. And then she still needed me twice. But she was afraid. She was only afraid. But lickety split, I arrived at the same place as she did. The Chinese proverb says, the boat that comes from my brother will also come from me. And if you believe that, then you do not have to pay in kind. You do not have to pay in kind. So they're afraid they're not going to make it to that beautiful heaven. When really and truly, you know where heaven resides? In your heart, in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. That's heaven. Instead of saying, you know what, please forgive me, apologize for saying I hurt you, and and anything. But because they are so fearful of you, that's why they wanted to crush you. Is that they couldn't be what you are. And the only thing they can work from is fear. And fear, when some people are fearful, they're dangerous. Because they will stop you before you even start. So they're dangerous. So how do you answer all of that? When they said, ask to be forgiven, please forgive me, forgive me. I said the only reason is usually they're looking at death, or they want something, and they went to God's altar, they went to the universe, and the universe says, you know what, go and get this thing fixed. 70 times 70. Go multiply this. When the Beatles wrote that song in the year 2025, did we ever think it would only be a few months away? No, we didn't. Did we? No. It seems so far away. It's there. It's the dawn of the next day, isn't it? What? 6 months? 7 months? And it's 2025? How time flies. So your answer should be, I am here because I forgave you all of this a long time ago. If I continue to carry your what you did to me through my entire life, I would become you. And that is and never will be my dream or goal or desire to be you. So when somebody asks you, that it comes to that point, they will always ask you. They're desperate. They're fearful. Something is lacking. I need your forgiveness. Let them know that you forgave them a long time ago. I am here now. Maybe you are the one giving the phone to make the phone call. Maybe you are the one putting a spoonful of soup into their mouth. Maybe you're the one that found a place to shelter them. Maybe you're the one that gave them clothes to wear. Remember, you have to do that, right? The corporal works of mercy. You must. And I'm here because I forgave all of this a long time ago. If I continue to carry your actions with me through my life, I would become you. You, and that is never wanting to be something I wanted to be for my dream, goal, or desire. You see, you must tell them how you feel. You see, I always knew and still know I was created and designed to be uniquely me. I cannot be you. I was created and designed to be special, to be uniquely me. Therefore, there is no way that I could continue to carry that hurt. I had to let it go on the other side of the riverbank before I crossed into another step of my life, because I did not want to be like you. And even at that, they will not apologize, because really and truly, that fearful human being sees no wrong. I hurt you, so you must forgive me for hurting you. They're still on that thing. The only thing dangling in front of them is heaven's gate. The only thing that's dangling in front of them is the fear that St. Peter might say, you have to go down there. That they're so frightened of death. And you will notice another thing. They don't want to die. Yet, we have no control. But forgive me because I need to get there. And they told me I have to get forgiveness for all what I did. And truly, we have to forgive ourselves for our actions. We have to forgive ourselves for putting these people into that situation, which is ourselves. I forgive me for putting you in that situation where you got hurt by this person. That's where the forgiveness goes. They have to ask for, they have to be asked you, they have to say, I apologize to you. But trust me, if any one of us, any one of us, take what that person or persons have done to us and we carry it into our future, we will be angry, disappointed. We will always be reliving that thing. And if it gets worse, and if you have to turn and say, I will be good for them, I'm going to get them, guess what? Be careful how you get them. Be careful what you say. Because what you say is what you will receive. There is no other thing that comes to you. You cannot go for retribution and then expect something else, because you're going to get what you say. I mean, this is loud and clear all around us. And if we are in awareness, we will hear it coming out of the mouths of others. Sometimes we don't even know them, but we hear it. We turn on the TV, the radio, we hear voices, and they're saying who they're going to hurt and what not they're going to do. And you have to pull back and say, okay, learn from that. We cannot live in this world and do not learn from what's happening around us. Choose how you're going to pay back. But do not pay back in kind. Do not pay back in kind. Take the time you have and explain to that person or persons, I forgave you a long time ago. If I hadn't forgiven you, I wouldn't be here with you right now, holding your hand to help you to feel better. I wouldn't be there to help you to make a choice that might correct something. And then they will even go to far as you when they're in that place where they shouldn't be. But their words and their actions, their thoughts and their behavior has brought them there. They might say to you, you must be mocking me now. And remember those words. Your response has to be, or they might say, you're laughing at me now, or you're happy I'm in a mess now. To all of those, your response must be to mock you, to laugh at you, to do all of that would be make me you, like you, and I don't want to be like you. Do not pay back in kind. Let it go. Do not force them to apologize to you. Because again, is it going to be heartfelt? Is it pulling at their heartstrings, or is it a ticket? Is it a pass they want? Do they want that stamp on their passport to move into another realm? Do they? Because yes, they do. So even if you give it to them, they have to know they have it. Because you see, they would never ever forgive you if it was the other way around. So even if you say all of that, they might still believe you didn't do enough. Because you know why? It hasn't touched their heartstrings. And trust me, as mean as they were to you, they all have heartstrings that pull and tug. They all feel it. So remember, choose not to pay in kind. Every time you pay in kind, you are being what you do not desire to be, because somebody else has decided to hurt you. So, my last words to you for that is, I always knew and still know I was created and designed to be uniquely me. And the unique me is not going to be like the rest of the herd. You can't. And if you know that, that's powerful. If you believe that you have it, it's powerful. If you believe that you're good enough, it is spectacular. It is an amazing feeling to believe, God, I have Michael Jordan level talent to be focused and to win. Hello, wonderful people. How are you doing today? Hi, Arita. I didn't see you coming in. It wasn't moving and I wasn't moving. So there you go. Stacy, all those lovely comments. Hi, Marina. Sorry, guys. And Moni Clark. So all of you came. Angelina, Georgie and Angelina. Oh, my God. I didn't know all of you were there because I was so much into it. You can forgive, I believe. It's not always forgetting. I don't know, but it's not that you cannot forgive. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that they need to apologize. Instead of asking for forgiveness, they need to apologize. But they don't understand apologizing, because they never would apologize. That's the person that would push ahead of you, brush past you, and never say they're sorry. That's what I mean. So it's not that they won't apologize. I forgive them, and I also forgive myself and version of myself that allowed that to happen. That's the most important thing, is to forgive yourself for allowing it to happen. But don't pay them back in kind. It's too dangerous. You become what you detest, and that's dangerous. So you have to realize that. Hold up, met on Tessa's morning blessing. Thank you, Stacy. What if they never apologize? You cannot, that is none of your concern. To be blunt, if the person refuses to apologize, or you don't have to ask them to apologize, they should know they should apologize. But if they cannot find it, they haven't learned anything. And chances are they will never apologize to you. And you have to understand, it's their journey. That is when you stop putting the plate in front of them to say, there's the apology you have to say. No, it's a human being, it's an adult, and you have to just let them go. The same person that cannot apologize, if you know someone like that, they also don't know those words we talked about on, was it Friday? Please and thank you. They just take and they go. They just keep taking and going. And they are perfect in their eye. But they have one thing that they cannot control, and it's fear. They are so fearful. And the older they get, the more fearful they get. Another thing is that you will notice their stories are stories of regret. So it's fear. They never took a chance. They didn't press a button. They didn't drop by for a moment because they're so afraid. And when you're working on fear, you become desperate because you will not do what you're supposed to do. You're too busy absorbing what others are doing. So the chances are they won't forgive. They won't say, they won't apologize. But you have to let them go. Like what Georgie said, she forgave them and she actually forgave herself. I always say that. You have to forgive you for putting you in that position because you had control. Nobody forced you to be in that position to allow that person to do this to you. And when it keeps being repeated, then you know you're crazy. And you're saying, oh, it will change. I know it will change. God will change it for me. God gave you a choice too. Isn't that where free will becomes amazing? Choose and decide how you're going to do this. Avoid being them by acting and behaving and thinking and draining yourself like them. It's easier to walk away, to live to fight another day. They will always come back because you know the chicken always comes home to roost. Their habit is the same, so they cannot change it. But you as an individual, you have to make a choice. Is it more pleasant to you to carry hate and anger and animosity against others? Or is it a better feeling to say, you know what, I'm done, I'll leave this alone? And you were given tools, right? You were given tools. Let me say something to you. None of us, not one of us in this world was meant to suffer like we allow ourselves to suffer. We have to believe and have faith. We have angels, our own personal guardian angel. If you know that and you believe that, you're already winning. Just to know it and believe it. And when you ask for that guidance, take it. It might seem silly and you'll think it's all you. Well, if you believe it's you, well, fine, go with it. But trust it. And you'll notice your life will be easier. I ask you that question, to say that question. If you were me, what would you do now in this circumstance? Pause and wait. And you have to get an answer. You must get an answer. But if you say that and you're watching the TV, you wouldn't know which answer. And of course, behaving in kind might be the first one because that's just how we are. My human angel, I'm just there to lift you up because I made a promise to myself before I knew what to do. But it was strictly about money. And I call it my mission statement: to enlighten, educate, and encourage everyone I meet to successfully manage their finances. This is how it all started. So what I experienced, I use it because I can talk from it. What I had as a child, I did not start my adult life with it. So I started at the bottom, like Drake said, and I had to crawl my way up. And along the way, I made choices and I made decisions and I made mistakes and I learned from them. And I became a better person than when I started at 22 on my own with a husband, right? So choices and decision. And as you go, you're going to learn. As we grow, we're going to learn. As we get there, we're going to learn. Every step towards the end of our life, we will learn. The thing is, what do we do with what we have learned? How do we spend it? It's money. It's literally, what do you call it? Equity. How do we use that equity of wisdom and of knowledge and of knowing better? How do we use that equity? Think about it. Do we hide it? Then we are no better than the man Jesus spoke about in the talents. One multiplied it by sharing it or whatever he did. He got 10 years. You know it better than me, most of you do. And then the second one made a little bit more. And the fearful fool buried it. He took it, he put it in the ground, cover it. Because I know you would come back. And you're a man that he already made all these assumptions. You're going to come back for your money, your talent. The talent you gave me, I'm not going to use it. I'm too frightened that you will come and take it from me. So I'm going to just bury it. You'll come, I might lose the talent. That gift you give me, to be wonderful, amazing, and spectacular, that gift, that talent you blessed me with, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to keep it for myself. And then I'll cover it. Because I know you are the man that picked up more than you do. You know that part of it. Are you like, he didn't use it. What happened to him? Because he was so fearful. Apparently, according to what I remember of this parable, it was taken from him and given to another, the one that had a lot. So when you notice it's just not going your way, look at how fearful you are. Do not treat people like they treat you. It is not good to do. Anyway, I'm done, Stacey. I forgive them and I also forgive myself, Georgie said. Equity of wisdom, love that. Thank you. It is equity. You have it. I have the most amazing angels. We do. We have amazing angels. So people, Lynn, Nancy, Stacy, Arita, Yuko, Georgie, Lisa, Colleen. Hello, Colleen. And Monty Clark. Okay, Loretta. That's a new person. Monette. Okay, or Monet. Is it? Anyway, it's lovely to see you here this morning. Wonderful people. It has been an honor and a privilege to get an opportunity like this in the morning at 8 o'clock, getting up every morning, Monday to Friday, knowing I can share some of me with you. It's a lovely feeling. So thank you very much for being here. And the idea is to take a pearl. No, why am I giving you the pearl? No, let's go back to the nugget. Did you get a nugget today? And look at the nugget. A golden nugget has crevices. Every one of the crevices has a message and it has something new. The black pearl, people go deep looking for it, and you got that black pearl. Look at it. See how valuable it is, not only for you, but who you can share it with. And of course, you have a sparkling diamond. That doesn't mean it's going to be an easy ride because you have a pearl or a diamond. You still have to work to polish it, to keep it. You know, when you lose a diamond, you lose everything in your mind, right? And your pearl, they're so rare. It's up to you to keep it all. Have a wonderful and spectacular day. Make sure, whatever you do today, you do it using your heartstring, because everything we do starts from that. Have a great and wonderful, spectacular day. Bye, everybody.